Pretty cool.
You're watching the Restoration Industry Book Review, a podcast that encourages roofers, flood and fire mitigation contractors to continually learn and grow to improve their businesses and lives. I'm Matt Danskin, a training consultant best known for teaching restoration contractors to consistently develop productive referral relationships with insurance agents. I'm sitting down with experts from across the industry to dive into the books that help them improve and make an impact on the restoration industry.
All right, guys. We are back and for episode 11 of the Restoration Industry Book Review. I apologize for running late if anybody was willing to listen in on the book. But I'm very excited about this show. I had actually delayed and procrastinated and started reading this book at 4:30 this morning. And so I've been doing very little other than reading this book today. And this is something that when I started this podcast, I reached out to a few people across the industry. Elizabeth was one of those people. And she knew right away, this was the book. This was the person that I needed to have on the show. So I've got both Elizabeth Calzadilla. I'm going to butcher your last name. I've got Elizabeth with Business 411, and I've got the author of our book today, Sherman S. Brown. And that book is The Bullet in Me. And this is a really, she's got her copy too. Sherman's the only one that doesn't have a copy. We're going to get into this. Before we do, though, I want to kind of make some introductions. Tell everybody who's on the call today, why it matters. Sherman, I'm going to hit you last since this is your book. Liz, why don't you go ahead and tell anybody in the industry that doesn't already know who you are, what you do.
So hi, everyone. For anyone who does not know me, my name's Elizabeth Calzadilla. So I am now the owner of Business 411. I started my company last year, but I have been in the roofing industry for 6 years, working with roofing contractors all over the world. So it hasn't just been in the United States or a specific city. I got started in the industry learning about roof measurements, technology, business operations, and sales. And that's really what I did for the last 5 years before I started Business 411. The reason that I began my company and why I founded Business 411 is because there's so many challenges in the roofing industry. And I wanted to maximize the opportunity to help as many people as possible in succeeding, growing their companies, and executing their vision. So that's what got me started. I love helping others. I love to see other people win, and I love to support others, which is really all that I do every single day is help different business owners and listen to their problems and help them solve them. Matt, you're muted.
All right. So Liz, we first talked probably a year ago as you were starting your company. You're rolling out a lot of the services that you did. And, like a lot of contractors you talk to, they're probably like, I'm not really so sure about this. What is she doing? Does she know what she's doing? And over this last year, I've talked to one contractor after another who has you handling a whole host of different marketing and services and technology stuff across their business. And everybody that I talked to couldn't be happier. And so I think that speaks volumes. It's all
about helping people every single day.
Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate that. Sherman, I muted you real quick because I think we're getting a little bit of an echo, but I'm going to mute myself and unmute you here in a second. You're the author of this book. I want you to first off introduce yourself, but also give us a little taste of what this book is about and what made you write it? I guess to start there.
Well, my name is Sherman S. Brown. I've been in the roofing business for 12 years now. What made me write the book is me overcoming business with the roofing business and where I'm from, as far as poverty, high school dropout. I was shot in the mouth with a gun. So going through those things in life, I didn't really have a way out. By the grace of God, I figured out that with God on my side and just trusting everything that's in front of me, He sort of made my life from poverty to another level. And the book is very inspiring, and it gives people hope. It's about giving hope at every level, and that's why I wrote the book.
Awesome. One of the things I thought was really interesting about kind of your perspective. I know I've been in the mindset, and I've known people that are in the mindset that they see a ceiling of anything that they could ever achieve. If you come from poverty, if you come from a hard situation, uh, at best you're thinking, okay, if I'm lucky, I can make $20 an hour. And the amount of opportunity that's out there just doesn't even seem possible. So I really like how you have not only found that for yourself, but uh, tried to help others see that and bring others to that point. Um, Elizabeth, you want to talk, I guess, a little bit about that? I don't know much about your background.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've got a perspective on?
Yeah, so I definitely have a lot to share there. So I mean, not a lot of people know my story, and the reason why I relate to Sherman so well. I grew up with a single mom, four brothers, one sister, big family, and I did grow up in extreme poverty. Living in not the best circumstances, and it's the same thing. Like what the bullet in me is all about. And the reason why, I'm on Sherman's team is because it is about turning pain into power. Your pain shouldn't be a limit in your life. It should be something that fuels you to maximize your own potential, and use that opportunity to help other people that are in the background. So I grew up in a very hard circumstance, and that's why I can understand Sherman so well, and I can relate to this. And why it inspires me so much is because it's so similar to how I grew up and everything I've overcome. And that's a word we're going to be using a lot too, because Sherman now has his personal brand, which is called Overcome. And that's all that he's working on, is helping people overcome challenges.
Awesome. And Sherman, uh, I know this is kind of going back to you in that area. How is your focus on that? What are you doing to help others achieve what they didn't think that they could and overcome, like Elizabeth said?
Cool. Well, to piggyback a little bit, I remember I've been an entrepreneur now for 23 years. All right. I dropped out of school in the ninth grade. My mom and dad was addicted to crack cocaine. My grandmother birthed 15 kids, so my bed at sometimes was a coffee table. I remember the mice getting my food before I get it, right? So I always told myself, because when I did mortgages and real estate, flip houses, I seen the people made the money, right? When they made the money, they had the suit on, conservative, driving the fancy cars. And I said, if I ever get there, I'll never move the bridge. And the bridge in my mindset was a platform where people can walk over and see the better life. So that was my goal, laying my life down um, and getting a reward, because God bringing me through all these things, it has to be my mission to do the same thing. And so I get very, very motivated to seeing somebody make it. I could be on my deathbed right now, and one person can come and say, "Man, you know, you inspired my life. I'm happy." I'm happy by me being shot in the mouth with a gun and the bullet is right here. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a plus to me. So it just make me feel good to see people making it in life. Because I think we all supposed to have that choice in that way, but sometimes our circumstances does not allow it, and we beat ourselves up. We beat ourselves up. I can't make it because I'm a high school dropout. I can't make it because I did not graduate from high school. I cannot make it because I didn't go to college. I cannot make it because my dad was incarcerated for 20 years. I can't make it because I've been divorced. Whatever the reason is, we always kill our own selves for that. So I just want people to know and let the world know, if I can make it through a gunshot, oh man, you can make it too.
Absolutely. To that, I know we're talking about a lot of things that kind of surround what your story has inspired. But I want to go back for the people that haven't read this yet, which you can find it on Amazon. You can download it on your Kindle. You can get the hard copy here if you want to read it. But if you haven't read it, Elizabeth, can you kind of, this isn't your story, right? But what are some of the things that stood out to you in this book, in what transpired and what he shared in this book?
Yeah, so I actually met Sherman prior to him writing this book. I met him in 2016. He was one of my first iRoofing clients, and I already knew him on a personal level. And he told me one day, Elizabeth, I wrote a book. You need to read it. And this was back in 2018 at the IRE. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll read it. It's one of those things, where you just haven't read it. A couple months ago, we connected when I was in, I believe it was Texas, and he was as well. And so we had lunch. He told me about the book again. I was like, okay, I'm going to read it. So I read the book, and really what stood out to me the most is, so he was literally shot in the face by a friend, and it was an accident. So it's not his friend's fault. It wasn't like he was intentionally hurt. It wasn't like anything that he was seeking out to go and do. Like he was in a certain place where he shouldn't have been, or doing something illegal or anything like that. It wasn't that kind of situation. So for me, even reading it, it just shows like, there's some times where certain things are going to happen that maybe we weren't in the right situation at that time. And because we weren't in the right place, the wrong thing happened. So it's also just lately in my own life as well. I had 2 really bad accidents in the last couple of weeks, and it's been just a lesson to me to be more cautious of where I'm placing myself, because if I'm somewhere that I'm not supposed to be at, or doing something maybe I shouldn't be doing, just give things an extra thought before I do them. And then the part that really like shocked me the most when he's sharing in his story when he's literally in a coma, and he's shot in the face, and like the whole feeling of waking up after being shot in the face and what was going through his mind. I can't imagine it. I've been through a lot in life, but I've never been shot in the face. And I just can't imagine the feeling of going from being shot in the face to deciding to overcome this, become a different person, and come out stronger at the end of the day. So to me, it was truly motivating and inspiring to see that happen. And just see his whole journey throughout the book, no excuses, just moving forward and continuing to grow as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a big piece of this is just being able to show other people, like, no matter what you came from, you can achieve something. So not just like words or me telling you, here, I did it. And I really, really appreciate that. Sherman, you've kind of touched on this already, but give us kind of a synopsis of your story, of where you were at. And I think most critically, you talk about Mama in here. It sounds like her and God, and I guess God through her played a big role in your life. Tell me how you got from A to Z, and how somebody else can take that same path.
Well, like Elizabeth said, in life, you don't know what path you're on, right? The only thing that we're trying to do to life is get to one end to the other end, right? So we don't know when it's going to rain. We don't know if it's going to snow. We don't know anything. We just want to get there. So me at the beginning of my life, I was in a dark hole, and I want to just get to the next level, whatever it was. I didn't know what it was, and still don't know to this day because I'm still thriving every day. But my situation was we was just poor. I didn't really think that poor. I didn't think at the time poor was a bad thing because I was happy. I was happy. I didn't have a frown on my face. But as I look back and looking at life for what it is, it was in a poor situation. When now my best friend, we became best friends because his mom had um, 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. So sometimes I was on the couch or I had a bedroom. So, God put us together. So we became best friends. If they didn't see him, they saw me. We were just friends. And it was true. We're still friends to this day. But when the path of high school in the ninth grade, when I was wearing the same clothes over and over again, I was one of the kids that wanted to be seen, but didn't really want to be seen because I didn't want you to see that I had the same pants on yesterday. I didn't want you to see that I had the same shirt on. I didn't want you to see that I couldn't get my hair cut, right? So I made the jokes in class so the kids cannot look at me so I can go to the next class and the next class and the next class, and then school is over with. But at one time, I was just tired, and I told the principal that I had the pink eye. And when I told the principal I had the pink eye, the principal said, "Hey, you can go ahead and leave because the pink eye is contagious." And when I left, I knew at that day I wasn't going back to school. So I just dropped out of school, didn't care about school or anything. And as I got older, and I'm talking about 1 year, 2 years after that, I'm trying to figure out life. So I had another friend of mine say, "Hey," he didn't know my education level. He asked me, "Did I want to go to college?" And I said, "Man, I can't go to college because I don't have a GED." And he said, and I'm trying to figure something out. I want something out of life, right? So he said, I got a friend that works at the financial aid department that can get you into college. So I enrolled in college. So now I'm in college. I'm seeing life more. I'm seeing educated people. I'm seeing people walking and dressing nice and got goals and has dreams. I'm like, wow. And the guy went to college, and then I got into real estate. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I just kept striving, and I didn't look at the past as a depression or a letdown. I look at the past as motivation to move forward. So as I started moving from college, moving into real estate and owning a mortgage company, and I'm constantly looking back and seeing how life is a lot different or better than what I thought it was going to be. I just kept moving. And so writing the book was just laying that thing down and letting people understand how it is and that you can make it throughout whatever you're going through. So you don't know what path you're on, but just keep the path of focus and keep focus on what you're trying to do. And I think, with your help and with God and with friends and loved ones, you'll make it to your destination.
Very good. So I think the reading this book, it reminded me a lot of another book that we did, uh, "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins.
Mm.
Which, I don't know. Sounds like both of you nodding your head. Sounds like both of you have read that book. But taking those things and instead of letting those adversities hurt you, letting them propel you, and letting them be the reason that you're not going to quit and you're not going to stop. And quite frankly, you could have been dead very easily, and you wouldn't have had any of the opportunities that you've been able to achieve. I know just out of my own stupidity, there's a dozen things that could have nearly killed me in my life. None of them a bullet to my head, but no, no less lethal. And especially in my younger years. But I think, I want to, Liz, can you tell me a little bit about this Overcome program that you're helping work with Sherman on? Um, what does that look like? How does that work? I haven't really
Yeah.
talked to you about that yet.
Yeah, so I'm very excited because, like I said earlier, my whole business model is built on helping people and investing in their dreams. And the reason why I called my business is Business 401 is because I didn't want to just stick to one specific thing. I wanted to help people make a business out of anything. So with Sherman, the whole reason why I'm standing so strongly behind him is because how many people do you know had a gun to their head and a bullet in their skull and survived? I have never met anyone with this kind of story. Sherman's the only person that I know. And then it wasn't that he just survived, is he turned this into a situation to start thriving. He started his first roofing company, went through some struggles there. I would love for him sometimes to share his story on that. I don't know how much time we have today. And then after that, just continuing to help others. And now he started another company. So it's just the fact that someone can consistently overcome adversity for me is just absolutely inspiring, as someone who constantly has gone through a lot of challenges and still to this day am continuing to go through challenges, but I continue to grow from it. It takes us to a certain mindset that you have to put yourself in. And for me, it's just teaching more people and having, Sherman share his story with people who feel like maybe they aren't, it's not in their cards for them to maximize their potential. Maybe they just see themselves in one specific light. And what I like about Sherman is that he's, throughout his years, throughout everything he's been involved in, he's been willing to put himself in an uncomfortable situation to grow, because that's what it is learning how to be uncomfortable with everything in life so that you can continuously grow. Don't get comfortable, don't stay stagnant, and don't let yourself get limited. So what we're going to be doing with Overcome, specifically Sherman, is I'm going to be inviting him to events to speak. He's going to be doing some interviews, some podcasts, sharing different stories, different experiences that he's had, not only in the contracting world, in the mortgage world, and the other businesses that he's owned. Being a Black man who, it's not very common even in our industry to have a successful business. Like, there's so many different challenges that he's faced as an individual and business owner, that just putting him in front of more people, that's really just my goal, is just help him get in front of more people, let him share his story. I know I really don't share my story much. Eventually I will. For right now, I'm just going to continue to be inspired by him and let him share his story, and let other people get inspired by him and let them maximize their potential. So if anyone is interested in finding ways to maximize their potential, that's one of my favorite conversations to have. I would love to discuss any of that with you guys as well. And if you want to learn how Sherman can help you and how he can help you and share with what he's experienced and how he's grown, also send me a message. I'll help you get connected with Sherman. And you guys will see him at more events coming up. I'm going to get him on plenty of stages.
Very good. And is Sherman going to be in Florida here in December?
Yes.
For the roofing process conference?
Mm-hmm. He will be there.
So
we'll have his books at my booth.
Oh, okay. Very good. So I will be at that, Sherman. I look forward to meeting you in person at that event as well. And Sherman, if you don't mind, Elizabeth kind of brought up a topic here that I think is really interesting to talk about, and that is failure. And you've got a business that's going now, that's succeeding, and I don't really consider anything a failure until you stop trying. But we have bumps in the road. What was that like for you? I guess if you can shed some light on kind of what led to that business not succeeding, and how you've been able to overcome that specifically here in our roofing industry.
I think in that I'm magna cum laude. Give me a second. I think I'm magna cum laude in business value. When I started my first construction company, roofing company, first generation, didn't know the outs and ins. When when the insurance company approved something, It was grateful to get the job. You have a thing called grateful and good stewardship. It was grateful. I was grateful that I hired people, friends of mine, and everybody wanted an opportunity. Come on in, come on in. I'll help you out, and I did that. And I did that for so many years, and I've sacrificed so much, and I was hoping that everybody was on the same page. Where at the end we could be this great, great company, um, and it I gave away too much commission. I didn't have accountability. I didn't scale it. I didn't, um, you know, I wasn't, I was focused, but I was hoping that they was focused. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was just pushing, hoping um, that it'll be okay, hoping that they'll understand and they'll learn and we'll all be great and we'll be this great company. And what I found out in years to come, it was symbolic to a church where you have the pastor and you have the ministers. And I was like the pastor, and other sales was like the minister. And the goal was for every minister is to sometime get their own church. It was that they had dreams, and they, I fired some and some left. But I felt so good I did that. um, but and I was bitter at one time. I was very, very bitter because I was like, I've sacrificed, I've helped you all, and I'm trying to help the company. And when the debt get high and the stakes get high, you all leave and not be productive and do jobs on the side and don't want to be open to a system, right? So
Yeah.
it broke me down. It broke me down to a point where I was like in a depression. I was depression because I knew that I had the heart to help. I knew that I was trying to help, and I didn't want that kind of outcome. Um, but what made me feel better is that um, I didn't look back or look down. I just kept going. And if they changed their lives, I'm happy. So by being happy about it and just reinventing myself, um, I'm grateful, and I hope that they go great and reach their high potential as well.
Yeah. What would you say has changed? What in your new business? What have you learned from that you're doing differently so that that doesn't happen again on you?
Well, you got two things. You got one thing called grace. You have another one called good stewardship. So, of the position that I have now, it's good stewardship. It's accountability. It's I don't hire anybody just because they want an opportunity. They have to be qualified. They have to show themselves they approve. At first, it was like, "Hey, come on, you smile right. Come on in here. You got a white shirt on. Come on." It's just not that anymore because um, you know I realize that the weight is on my shoulders ultimately, right? And I have to guard that. So now, I really, man, before I hire anybody, they go through three people interviews before they even get to talk to me because I'm just good hearted, right? And I got to guard my heart sometimes.
I see a lot of new contractors, guys that are just starting out in the business. That can be really tough for them. Is that they want to hire everybody. They find somebody that's a good person that's maybe not the right fit for the role that they need to fill, and they go, okay, let me change my entire business plan to work around this really good person. And I think that is can be a.
And also too, a lot of contractors, like say LeBron James, right, the basketball player. LeBron James making 50 million. They grossly think, all right. A lot of contractors they grossly think. They grossly think because you're making this big $30,000 check, they think that's your net. It's your gross, right? So a lot of contractors who work for other roofing companies, they will sit there as a salesman and do a job and bring a check in and like, wow, I can make all that money myself. But they're not understanding that it's things that comes out of that check. You got your taxes, your supplies, your comebacks when the job leaks. So as a salesman, that's the best position to be in. If I was a salesman that had to worry about anything else, oh my God. you know, but if if they can understand to work within and be a salesman and get your commission and stack your money, you really is in the safe zone. But they don't understand.
Yeah, being that owner definitely that carries a lot with it. You're the one up at night worried about your business. You're the one that really has a lot of skin in the game. Whereas the salesperson, they get their money and that's their money. They don't have to pay a bunch of expenses out of it. I mean, they have their expenses, but it's a whole other deal. So I see that as well. Guys that go, I'm going to go start my own deal because he's making so much money. That $30,000 roof that we did, I only made $4,000 on it. So he made 26. No, he probably made 3. Right. And so
I think every business owner is a millionaire. That's a common thing. Everybody thinks business owners are all millionaires.
yeah.
Yes, it mean. I mean, ooh, oh, my Brennan Mac moment came out. But yeah, what the fuck they talking about? Excuse me. But people think that, man. They think because you own a business and you sit behind the desk
Mm-hmm.
that, wow. I don't even. I mean, I don't get it because as a business owner, you're thinking day in, day out. As a business owner, if you don't have the funds and you got to figure out what the funds is to pay the salary. As a business owner, when Uncle Sam comes, you got to talk to Uncle Sam. As a businessman come, when they audit you for your taxes, for your insurance, you got to have that. As a business owner, you got to have an office. As a business owner, you got to have all these things. You got to multitask. You got to diversify. You got to be happy every day as a business owner. What the fuck they talking about? I don't motherfucker understand. It's some bullshit. But it's just so much as a business owner. And I wish that being a business owner was a piece of cake, but it's not. It's not. Now, and I'm not trying to discourage you from being a business owner because if it's in you, go for it. Go for it, and may God be with you. You can get it. But you have to understand that if you're a businessman, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. You got to give it all you got, and you got to be open to that you may not make no money. You got to be open to that you'll make money grossly, but at the end of the year, you may be in the negative as a business owner. You got to be open to saying that, okay, great, I may just have enough money to pay my mortgage. That's all I'm going to make this year, right? Because the battle of business is not given to the swift. I got it going on. The swim, I'm broke. It's given to the one that endure, can sustain, that can last, that can do good business, that can not eat sometime, that can be broke and have enough money just to get to work. That's the true test of a business owner. So if you want to get it, go for it, but be cut out for it.
Absolutely. So I would say on a scale from having business 411 handle something for you to that's the easy end of the scale to the getting shot in the face. How hard would you say it is being a business owner, being a contractor?
Man, I would say it's symbolic. I would say it's twins. I would actually say being shot in the mouth and being a business owner is twins, because as a business owner, you want to be so successful. You want to walk around with your suit and act like or you want to have a lot of money in the account. You want to have a company where all your employees is effective in getting things done and really maximizing the time that you paying them for. You want to have a company whereas you can just walk in and just point, right? Yeah, you're great. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, you're great. Yes, fine. The budget's great. Yeah, we fine. You want that, but that's not the case. As a business owner, you have to really understand Like even me getting shot in the mouth. To be shot in the mouth with a gun. If I had a choice, I would say, God, can you just get him to shoot me in my leg that's numb? You know what I mean? Shoot me right there. Or just can you just scrape my finger? You know what I mean? With the bullet. I still be, grateful. But it's just not like that. I was shot in the mouth, through my tongue, right here. That's hard. And I think about it every day. So when
Hold on, I gotta stop you real quick. That bullet changed from your left side to the right side. Which side is it on? You showed me you pointed at the other side earlier.
just fucking laws, I know I feel it. But it's right here. The bullet's right here, man, like under my jaw right here. I can feel it right here.
That's not.
Yeah.
And so you've had that in your jaw for what, 27 years now?
Say again?
You've had that in your jaw for what, 27 years now?
45 subtraction 18 years old. That's 81. Hold on a second. 45 subtracted by 18. Yeah, 27 years. Yeah, 27 years. I'm not 50 cents, like 32 cents. Okay. Give it to my pen. Yeah, give it. Yeah.
Let me mute that for a second so we don't have an echo. Guys, I really appreciate having both of you on the show. Thank you, Sherman, for sharing the story. And I want to see this in more people can, so it can affect them, so that they can see a way to overcome the adversity that they're dealing with. Liz, I appreciate you being on the show, you introducing me to Sherman and his book here. Liz, I appreciate that you're going to set me up with the best booth location down here in Florida at the Roofing Process Conference, December 3rd and 4th, right?
Yeah. So as you can see, like, it's changed so much over the last year. So many people that I'm helping. Maybe it's time for you to let me help you, Matt. Maybe it's time.
We might need to discuss that. So absolutely, we've all got business needs. So that's one way that you're already helping me out, is hooking me up with that primo booth location.
I got you. I'm gonna put you right by me, just so you can, be part of the action.
There you go. And I've had some of your clients as guests on this show as well. So I had Thomas Fields and Justin Woodruff on, and I think they were just starting off with you, and I've been talking with them, and they're really enjoying it, working with you in their business. So, guys, thank you for being on here. Liz, I've got you muted here. Let me unmute you. What do you got to say?
Yeah. So if you guys want to check out more information on Sherman, check out his website. It's called overcomelife.org. And if you guys send a questionnaire with any info, or if you want him to be part of any of your events, or go speak to your team, or maybe just get on a call with you yourself, maybe you've been through something similar that he has, maybe you just want to talk, let me know. You can message me. You can go to his website, overcomelife.org.
And I would encourage everybody, Liz, you and I have talked on the phone about what I'm doing in my business, and you have a great perspective. And I think it's worthwhile for people to at least have a conversation with you, see what you bring to the table. And, maybe it's not a fit, and you can just offer them some advice of what is. But I think because you're doing so many things, and you're doing, you're involved in so many different areas, you're able to connect people up in meaningful ways. So I think, really encourage people to reach out to you for that. Sherman, you wrote the book here. Close us out here on the show, and give us one last nugget to go with.
Hey, man, I really, really thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. Elizabeth, I thank you so much. And I thank everybody for even tuning in. The old Tupac Shakur, he said one thing, that I may not change the world, but as long as I can spark the minds of the ones who can. So I may not be the hero, but if I can be a snippet to help you be the hero, let me help you
Hey,
be that.
I really thank you for allowing me to be.
Hmm? Hello?